your name on it. There's a miracle. There's a miracle. There's a miracle with my name on it. There's a miracle. There's a miracle. There's a miracle with my name on it. There's a miracle. There's a miracle. I can feel it. There's a miracle. I can see it. There's a miracle with my name on it. There's a miracle. There's a miracle. There's a miracle with my name on it. Now me go laugh first. Now me go still laugh last. I no go suffer. Now your mercy show us. I know it's gonna last. Holy Ghost, now I stand by. There's a miracle with my name on it. Amigo laugh first. Amigo still laugh. I know go suffer. I know go suffer. Hey. Now your mercy show us. I know it's gonna last. Holy Ghost, now I stand by. There's a miracle. There's a miracle with my name on it. Amigo.
Hello, and welcome back to the third and the last session for day 3. And I know that we've been learning a whole lot. Now, the question is this: have you been practicalizing what you have been learning over the past 2 days, or you've just been taking notes and listening and burning data? Now, just a few take home. Whatever you learn here, practicalize it. Make sure that you put it into practice. Let people know, okay, I attended the training and this is what I learned, and I'm trying to put into practice to know, okay, if it works, and if it works for you, why not you share it with your friends and family? People get to know, okay, this thing actually works, so why don't I try it? This evening is going to be another exceptional evening. Don't just be a partaker of this, also practicalize it. Practice everything you are going to learn today, so that at the end of this No Conference 2026, you will have testimonies that you also share to people coming 2027. Okay, this is what I learned last year, and it has been working for me. Before we start, I want us to hear what this is all about again. The No Conference is brought to you by Answering Tough Questions from Children and Teens, ATQ for short. We're a growing community of parents, carers, and trusted and safe adults with its presence on WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Our main objective is to ensure that children and teenagers get the right, correct, and appropriate answers to their questions, and to ensure that parents, carers, and safe and trusted adults are equipped to give the right answers and have meaningful conversations. This we achieve through our monthly webinar, How We Do It, where we learn and share our monthly book reviews and offering answers, suggestions, and solutions to questions sent to the community. Now, this evening is going to be so powerful. Get everyone you have on board. Share, like, subscribe. Make sure that this room is full. So that before this whole event is over, you have touched 1 or 2 persons because you shared that link to them. Before we invite the speaker in, I know Mrs. Oboko has 1 or 2 things to chip in before we proceed. Good evening, man. How are you doing today?
Good evening, Priscilla. God bless you. Thank you so much for doing this for us once again. Thank you for being an amazing moderator. Once again, welcome back, everybody. This is our third session for today. I know, I believe, and I trust God that you've all been blessed from the first session where we talked about prayers to the second session where we talked about the boy child, about raising boys. And now we are here to talk about substance use. You and I know that whether they will call it the message, the gospel, the campaign, the crusade of talking about substance use prevention can never be overemphasized. We will keep talking about it. We will keep preaching it until it gets into the ears of every parent. And I'm so blessed. I am so happy that one of my friends, my friend, when No Conference was about to start, it was after my husband and Reverend Adike. He was the second person I talked about. I told, and he was like, let's get on this. Very important. And he has been with us since No Conference started. He has not missed anyone. And I'm so grateful he's here to speak to us. Once again, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have joined but you have not pressed that subscribe button, that bell, please click on it and subscribe. That's one. Two, you don't need to hear some of these things alone. It won't really profit you if you hear it alone. It's good and important that you hear it with your family members. If you can cast it on your television so that your household will listen and hear, it's okay. If you know you have people in your house that needs to hear this, share to your friends, share to your neighbors, call your neighbor, call your friend. Something is happening, come listen with me. Or tune in and listen. So we can have more people come in and hear what you are hearing. Your children's friends' parents, your fellow school parents, the school principal, your children's school head teacher, principal, proprietor needs to get this information that is being shared today. They need to hear what you want to hear now. So if you have your school principal's number, send her the link or him the link. School proprietor, head teacher, class teacher, send them the link to be a part of this session because they need to hear this so that all of you will be on the same page when we are talking about certain things. Please go ahead and share the link. Everybody should come in and let's learn. Once again, thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much, Coach David, for doing this for us always. God bless you. Over to you, Priscilla.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Like she said, share, like, subscribe, and we are good to go.
Mr. David FOLARANMI. David FOLARANMI is an economist and a public servant, but his interest lies in mental health and behavioral changes with emphasis on addiction. He is a trained UNODE educator and has had further training with WHO, EU, Colombo Drug Advisory Program, Substance Use Disorder Prevention and Treatment and Care. David FOLARANMI is the project director of the Live Free initiative, which is an arm of the David FOLARANMI Foundation that seeks to prevent substance use among the youths and the society through sensitization, enlightenment, and education. Mr. FOLARANMI is executive director of the Live Free Renewal Center, a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center in Enugu State, a recipient of several awards home and abroad for his contributions to the eradication of drug abuse in Nigeria. Mr. FOLARANMI is a member of International Society of Substance Use Professional, Nigeria Chapter, Community Intervention Network for Drugs, Nigeria Chapter, Association that advocates against alcohol harm in Nigeria, and he is an ambassador for the drug-free world in Nigeria. Mr. FOLARANMI is happily married and the union is blessed with 3 beautiful daughters. Welcome Mr. David FOLARANMI as he speaks on the topic, Understanding the Reality of Substance Use Today.
And our guest today is going to be taking us on a long journey on drug and substance abuse. Get a friend, get someone to join in. Do not listen alone. Good evening, sir, and how are you doing today?
Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm doing very well, thank you. Good to see you.
You too, sir. The floor is all yours, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I want to say a big thank you to my big sister, Auntie Stella, for bringing this conference to us by the instruction of God. Yes, this conference is a mandate given to her to equip parents with answers and skills to manage their young children, middle-aged children, adults, teenagers, and all of that. I want to say a very big thank you to her and the entire team answering tough questions from children. You're doing an amazing job. To God alone be all the glory. Yes, I count it a great privilege to be here again to speak about something that is very, very deeply concerning And then every day we wake up, it seems like it is spreading more and more. And what is more worrisome is that it feels like parents are none the wiser about how to tackle the scourge, the menace of drug abuse. That's why we're here today, to equip you with what you should do to ensure that your own child or any child entrusted in your care as a teacher, an uncle, a legal guardian, a parent, any child trusted in your care does not suffer the problem of drug abuse. So yes, my topic is simple, understanding substance abuse and how it affects us today and what we can do. Again, thank you very much to Auntie Stella. Some of us might ask, why the subject of drug abuse? It is very simple, because if you ignore this particular topic, if you ignore this particular subject matter, you see, every other thing that we have discussed in the No Conference, talking about technology, talking about prayer, talking about raising boys, talking about academic success, once the inroad of substance use is gets to your children, every other thing goes out of the window. That is why I have said it time and time again, that no parenting conference is complete without the drug abuse talk. No parenting conference is complete without the drug abuse talk. The Bible says, of the sons of Issachar were men that understood the times and seasons. And because they did understand the times and seasons, they knew which way Israel ought to go. The question is, do you understand the times and seasons we belong to? I took a new car, to the mechanic's place for servicing. And then the guy brought one oil to me. And then he said the oil was 80,000. I said, Kini, 80,000. He said, yes, sir. I said, no, but I serviced the other car and the oil was 25,000. He said, sir, this one is for new model cars. I thought he was joking. I said, stop playing with me. Oil cannot be 80,000. He opened the engine, showed me where they wrote it that that specific oil was for that specific car, and why that other oil for the old model cars cannot work on this particular car. I said, wow. And immediately then it occurred to me that some of us as parents are using the same type of oil that our parents used in servicing us when we were children. We want to use that same oil to service our children now. And then we're seeing that the engine will begin to knock because that oil is not suitable for this generation. So wherever you are, I want you to know that there is a new syllabus, and that is part of why the No Conference is brought to us today. A lot of times, by the grace of God, you heard in my bio, God is helping us with the rehabilitation center work we are doing. And every day, literally, today I've had more than 10 calls. Every day I get calls from frantic parents who are confused, who are lost for words because their children have gone into drugs. And they say to me, some of them, I don't know how it happened. We did everything we can. That's the most common one. We have done everything that we can, but I don't know what happened. What happened is that you have truly not done everything that you are supposed to do. You have truly not done everything that you are supposed to do. The age of initiation into drug use has continued to reduce drastically. Last year in this conference, I told the story of a 13-year-old boy. My wife and I were in Lagos for a documentary with the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. This happened about 4 years ago. I got a call from a mother in tears, crying that her son is using drugs. She has no idea how it started or what she's going to do about it. I said to her, I'm not around. I'll send you to somebody who can manage him with first aid. And then when I come back, we'll see him. My program in Lagos took about 2 weeks. By the time I came back, I made a call to the woman. How's your son? She said, my son died yesterday. I was broken. It didn't stop at that. She sent me a video of the young boy. He used to play football, an expert footballer. And you see, whenever he scores, he takes off his top, like some of the professional footballers do on TV. And he has a message on his shirt that says, I belong to Jesus. And the mother, while crying to me, said, "Sir, I did everything that I knew how to do. I don't know how he got involved in drugs." 13-year-old boy. So many other cases. A young boy of 14 years old was brought to me. His mother came in from the US, even though he schooled in Enugu State here. And then when she brought him into my office, I tried to communicate with him. The boy started laughing hysterically. I said, "What is going on here?" She said she doesn't know that that's how they called her, that something is wrong with him. They are taking him here, they are taking him there. He was still wearing his school uniform. I had a discussion with him. I asked him if he had smoked before. He said no. I said, "So what could be the problem?" I asked if he needed psychiatric care. They said they were on their way to a psychiatrist, but they wanted to see me first. So I said, "Okay, let us run a drug test." They said, he doesn't use drugs. He doesn't use drugs. I said, "Well, we need to fulfill our righteousness. We need to check. For the sake of checking, let us check." So they said, "Okay." We picked his urine sample. We tested it. Boom. Positive for marijuana. I told the mother, "So that's it. He's using drugs." The mother said, "Hey, my village people." She asked him. The boy said he's not using drugs. He denied vehemently. I said, "No, you can't tell me you're not using drugs because the test result shows that you are positive. I mean, this is a scientific test kit that proves beyond all reasonable doubt that its results are correct." So we decided to run the test again. Again, he showed positive. Again, the boy denied. I asked the Holy Spirit to help me. What is going on here? And then I discussed with him, and he opened up to me about eating cake, muffins in school. So these muffins had been infused with marijuana, and then that was how he had been eating it in large quantities, and it had begun to affect his psychic, and that was why he was showing those manifestations. And of course, he had to be taken to a psychiatric hospital that deals with children so that he can start the process of psychiatric treatment. Now, do you know what? We went to the school of that young boy. I'm scheduled to go there again this week. We did a test. There are 25 in the class. 19 of them were positive for drugs. 19 out of 25 JSS3 students were all positive for drugs. So you see what I'm talking about. If 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds are already engaging in this right underneath the noses of the parents, then parents need to wake up. And that is why we are here in this conference. Do you know that statistics are shown that it takes an average of 2 years for a parent to notice that his or her child is using drugs? Why? Because as parents, we don't even know the telltale signs of drug use. We don't know what to look out for when our children are using drugs. We need to wake up. The responsibility is ours. We cannot delegate this responsibility to anybody else. We do need to wake up. The story of the 16-year-old girl who was rescued from the bunk. There's the story of another 15-year-old boy who was also rescued from the bunk. I can go on and on and on and on about stories. Now, do you know we just discharged an 80-year-old, 80. Well, he's not yet 80, he'll be 80 in November, he's 79. 80-year-old man. It breaks my heart. Whenever I see him in the rehabilitation center, I'm saddened. Brought to us by his children and his grandchildren. Now, what point am I trying to make here? He has been doing drugs from his young age. He has been doing drugs from his young age. And I say to myself, where were his parents? Were they not supposed to be standing guard by the gates of the city to ensure that he doesn't get into drug use? And this man's entire life was wiped out by drug use. Got married. His wife said for the entire period of her marriage, it was hell on earth for her because she was married to somebody who was addicted. So parents, you need to wake up. Currently, we have a 64-year-old woman who is on admission also, a retired director of nursing. You will wonder, shouldn't a nurse know more than everybody else? But there is a missing link. Somebody did not do his or her job in equipping that old woman when she was younger with the right skills to say no to drug abuse. We need to wake up. A young boy who was brought to us, he's supposed to be of university age. The mother done everything that she can, running from pillar to post, came in from Lagos, having gone to several rehabilitation centers, and he is not able to come out of it. Been with us for about 9 months. 9 months. Now there's the consideration of taking him into an asylum. My brothers and my sisters, did I tell you that there is no sure formula for drug abuse treatment? Please, I hope this is being recorded. Mark me anywhere, play this anywhere. If anybody tells you otherwise, bring him to me. Bring the person to me. Somebody tells you he has 100% assurance formula in treating drug addiction, bring the person to me. There's none. Scientifically speaking, medically proven, there's none. This is why we must wake up to the responsibility of prevention, which is what we're going into very soon. We discharged somebody last week or 2 weeks ago. Do you know that this guy had been to 10 rehabilitation centers? 10, and one was the 11th. 11th. Should I make the matter worse for you? His brother is coming to join us tomorrow. His brother is coming to join us tomorrow. Don't you see a pattern of parenting that has caused family members to struggle with substance use? We can go on and on and on about the pain caused from drug use, but I don't think we have all the time. I got called by a university in Enugu State again. Overdose of young girls. Overdose of young girls had to be rushed to the hospital. So please, please, and please, we must pay attention to prevention, because that is the way out. The reality of substance use in our world today is that it is prevalent, is that it has come to stay, is that those who are hell-bent on getting it into our families will stop at nothing to keep pushing the substance use narrative. And the only way out is prevention. The only way out is prevention. The only way out is prevention. Prevention is the absolute stopping or the delay of initiation into substance use by children or young adults. And if they have started already, prevention, part of prevention is stopping it from developing into a disorder where there might be no cure permanently. Where there might be no cure permanently. That is what prevention is. That is what prevention is. So the task for every parent here today at this conference is to carry out prevention mechanisms in your homes. The task, the responsibility of every parent in this conference is to carry out drug abuse prevention interventions in your home. I've broken it down into 3 components, and I hope we all listen to it, right? Because if we keep talking about the reality of substance use, how it's destroying people, I can give you statistics, I can give you numbers. That is not going to feed our spirits this evening. In fact, that will just dampen some of us, and I want you people to sleep. Because if I keep telling you stories, some of you might not sleep. We've had brothers and sisters, that's male and female, who will use drugs, and then when they finish, they sleep with each other. They sleep with each other. Real life story, real life story. Both of their parents died in the process. See, you make your bed, you lie down on it the way you made it. The way you make your bed is the way you lie down on it. The way you make your bed is the way you lie down on it. If you don't practice prevention today, you might suffer the pain of regret tomorrow. Brother and sister, same mother. The sister introduced the brother to drugs. And then when they take it, they get so intoxicated that they start practicing incest. Prevention. Prevention for me is the only way out, because I've said it time without number that cure is not sure. From the stories I've told, you see people running from rehabilitation center to rehabilitation center. Prevention is not only better than cure, it is a far cheaper option. A far cheaper option. But the problem is we parents we don't want to take that option now. We prefer to be running helter-skelter looking for solutions. I've said it many times. I think I said it in this conference last year. Some of us as parents are the primary cause of our children's struggle with drug abuse. Yes, we hate to admit it, but this is true. We have parents who are irresponsible in their parenting. A young man, just recently, I went to visit. The father invited me, and then the father was offering me alcohol in the presence of the young boy that we're supposed to help. So I said, "You people drink alcohol in this house?" The father said, "Yes, it's very okay." In presence of the children, I say, "You see where the problem is starting. You are a parent here. You don't frown on alcohol use, especially with children. You are creating a problem for them in the future. God has blessed you so much. The only thing you know how to put in your house to decorate it is a bar, and you decorate it with Hennessy and Azul and Jack Daniels and what again? Hey, I've forgotten all these things. So Jameson, Black Bullet. You're putting it in your house, and your children are seeing it every day. And you forget that Satan is also showing them commercials of some of these alcoholic drinks. And then those commercials are designed by psychologists to draw and to lure your children into alcohol use. You know how they do it? I happen to be the chairman, board of trustees of the Associates Against Alcohol Harm in Nigeria. So we study the industry and we study the techniques they use in sucking our children into some of these things. Part of it is through the commercials. Part of it is through the commercials, through the advertisements. They create a beautiful advert with some of their faves, some of their musical celebrities and movie celebrities, and they make it look so cool. They drive Mercedes-Benz, they wear bling bling on their neck and all of that. And they make it look like you have to drink a bottle of alcohol so that you can also be as cool as the people in the adverts. And then you, who is at home, you are helping your child to further confirm what they are doing by creating a bar in the house. You better wake up. You better wake up, because one of the most painful experiences for a parent is for him to have a problem with his child that has no solution. My mom was telling me just yesterday about one of her former colleagues whose young daughter is addicted to drugs. And right now, the man has done everything. He's on the verge of selling his house. He's on the verge of selling his house. He told me that the rehabilitation center, she told me the rehabilitation center they were taking the girl to cost about 1.2 million naira in Abuja. You know what I said to her? I said, "Mommy, I know this rehabilitation center they're taking her to very well. And I'm not here to demarket anybody, but I hope they know that it is not 100% assured solution they'll get there." So before the man sells his house and becomes homeless with a drug addict daughter, he should think twice. He should think twice. I don't know if I told the story last year about a young girl in Lagos. I went to a school to teach. On leaving the school, 3 girls ran up to me. The one in the middle, I looked at her. I knew there was a problem. She said, "Sir, I'm a drug addict." How? How did it start? I started drinking Hennessy I saw in my father's wardrobe. And from there, I shared it with my friend who is a neighbor. And then he also gave me marijuana. And from marijuana, we started taking cocaine. I asked her how old she was. 14 years old. 14. She said, "Sir, I've become so addicted," because she's in a boarding school. She said, "The only way I can get my fix once my pocket money is finished is if I sleep with some of the staff around." She pulled up her skirt and showed me her lacerations made by razor blades, because she has started self-harming. She has started hating herself at the age of 14 because of drug addiction, because of an irresponsible father who left a bottle of Hennessy unattended to in his house. Do you know that eventually she had to be flown to India for a kidney transplant after a few months of dialysis? Because it was from my visit to that school we set up an intervention for her and found out that she was already struggling with one of her kidneys. Parents, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. Passive parenting. You see things happening, you just turn a blind eye. Enabling parenting. Some parents literally destroy the life of their children for years, for decades, and then you start looking for overnight miracle. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We've had a death of a young lady who was addicted to crack cocaine, had about 4 or 5 children outside wedlock. The young lady has died. And I was speaking with the mother. How did it start? She said, started when the girl was 13 years old. What were you doing when the girl was using cocaine at 13? What were you doing? What were you doing? Some of us say we're looking for money. What money? We live in a generation where father is looking for money, mother is looking for money. The children are left with stewards. With stewards. Pay the price of prevention today. Enjoy a life of peace tomorrow. Pay the price of prevention today and enjoy a life of peace tomorrow. Pay the price of prevention today and enjoy a life of peace tomorrow. If you neglect drug abuse prevention, the cost can be too hard to bear. I was doing a news interview just recently, and I got a question about drug abuse prevention, and I talked about the 5 cardinal points of drug abuse prevention. Now listen, if we get it right on all of these fronts, then we'll reduce drug abuse to the barest minimum in our society. Number 1 is the family-based drug abuse prevention. Family-based drug abuse prevention. Prevention that starts within the family. This for me is the most important. We'll come back to it, and that's our basis for this teaching today. However, I'll go through all of the others. Number 2, the school-based drug abuse prevention. Recently, facilitator for secondary school teachers in Ikeja, Lagos, and I explained to them that the school forms the second line of defense. So when we mix it at the family unit, the school should ensure that they do not miss it. Sometimes children are products of broken homes, children who are orphans and have no proper homes. Maybe they live in the foster care system, and then they cannot enjoy the blessedness of the family-based prevention. The school has the responsibility of taking it over from there. Number 3, and when we talk about school-based drug abuse prevention, we also talk about mentoring, coaching, and all of that, because it's all an education system. So you're a coach here, you are a mentor here to younger people. You have the task of preventing drug abuse in those kids. Number 3 is the faith-based drug abuse prevention system. The faith-based drug abuse prevention system. We're talking about the 5 cardinal points of drug abuse prevention: family-based, school-based, faith-based. Faith-based is very important because we live in a very religious society where everybody belongs to a church or a mosque or one religion or the other. And from research and my experience, I found out that young people sometimes listen to their religious leaders even more than their parents or more than their school teachers. So you see where there is a space for religious leaders to carry out drug abuse prevention. Get trainings. We've done quite a number of trainings in the Catholic Church. I did that all through last year in Ebonyi State. Get certifications, understand the language of drug abuse prevention, and put it into your sermons. Make the churches, make the religious centers, make the mosques a place that young people can come to, and you can help them out with drug abuse prevention messages. Very important. And then number 4 is the community-based drug abuse intervention. You see something, you say something. Before they used to say it takes a community to raise a child. Now, I don't think that happens anymore. I don't think that happens anymore. But what we forget or what we fail to understand is that with drug abuse, the drug abuse prevention you neglect can very easily come round to affect you. Now we are driving to our houses, we see a dark spot. Some of us live in gated estates. You can't even make a complaint. Some of us know some of those people that are selling it in their shops, in their shed, under the guise of selling provisions. They are selling tramadol to young people. They are selling codeine to young people. And you say, my son is not doing it, so it's not my business. I pity you when the sons of people who are doing it become friends with your sons. Community-based drug abuse prevention, very important. Very important. If you say something, you say something. Everybody must put their hands on deck to ensure that the scourge of drug abuse is beaten and is taken out of our society. And the final one is the media-based prevention. very important as well. The media has a role to play in drug abuse prevention. So these 5 cardinal points, if everybody plays his or her role properly, we will reduce drug abuse to its barest minimum in our society. Preventing drug abuse within a family requires an intentional approach. It must be intentional. So you're a parent watching this today or watching it some other time, whatever part of the world you are in, you must be intentional about your approach to drug abuse prevention. You cannot afford to leave it to chance. You cannot afford to delegate this responsibility to anybody else. There must be open communication. There must be connection. There must be the drug abuse education through conversation and fostering of a supportive environment. You must have the drug conversation with your children, just like there's the sex education. You must have the drug conversation with your children. I was teaching at a family-based prevention program last year, and I said something. Do you know that prevention starts from the womb? Prevention starts from the womb. I don't know how I'm going to break this down because of our time. Listen, we have what we call risk factors for drug abuse. You know what that means? These are factors outside the control of your children. You looking at me. There are certain factors outside their control that will make them susceptible to using drugs. Are you listening? There are certain factors that it is not your child's fault, that can make him or her to eventually try using drugs. I've seen it play out many times. I've seen it play out many times. No fault of the child, but because they were involved in these risk factors, they began to use drugs. Now, as a parent, as a mother who is pregnant with a child, it is your responsibility to identify those risk factors even before the child comes out. Create protective factors that mitigate or fight those risk factors so that your child can develop properly without using drugs. Do you know that one of these risk factors includes genetics? A group of professors from Harvard, and please fact check me, a group of professors from Harvard came up with a research on genetics and how it affects addiction. And it was discovered that addiction can be passed down from one gene to another. So you as a woman, you get married to a man, in the course of your courtship, you find out that his father was an alcoholic, his grandfather was an alcoholic. Then your husband now tells you there's a time that I was also an alcoholic. Be careful, be careful. I'm not saying don't go on with the marriage. Some of us are already in the marriages already. I'm just saying that create protective factors that will safeguard your child from eventually becoming an addict of some sort. Mental health illnesses, depression, anxiety, trauma, these are risk factors that you must identify as a parent that can make your child susceptible to using drugs. Poor attachment to the school or the community. I was telling somebody a few days ago, when your child starts crying, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to go to school, instead of shutting him up or shutting her up, find out why. Find out why. The problem is some of us as parents are too lazy to carry out our responsibilities. Find out why. Some of you start beating them. You beat them into going to school and then you pursue them into using drugs with your own hands. Risk factors. Risk factors. I give everybody an assignment here today. Find out the risk factors that surround your children that might make them susceptible to using drugs. Environmental factors as well. There are certain environments that your children grow up in. Every day they see people using drugs. Every day they watch people using drugs. It is a risk factor because it is registering in their subconscious. It's only a matter of time. One day they want to try it. Inability to solve problems. Inability to regulate emotions. Quite a number of them. We can't look into all of them. Very quickly as I try to close. 7 keys to safeguarding your children against substance abuse. 7 keys to safeguarding your children against substance abuse. Number 1 is spiritual sensitivity. As a parent in the No Conference, you must be spiritually sensitive. I've said it every time and everywhere that as parents, you are the custodians of your children's destiny. You are. God has handed these children over to you. You are to guard and to guide them into their glorious destiny. God's word says, for he knows the plans and thoughts he has towards them, plans of good and not of evil, to give future and the hope. But you have a responsibility to guide and to guard. As a parent, you are tasked by God to perform spiritual oversight functions in the life of your children. Spiritual sensitivity and discernment over your children is important. It's important. I've had many instances where parents will come and say, there's just something in my mind that is making me feel like something is going wrong. That's spiritual discernment. See, look, you can't tackle the situation of drug abuse and addiction only in the physical, in the flesh. No, you must involve the spiritual, because drug abuse is one of the weapons that Satan is using to destroy not just the children of our generations, but the family units. Because many times a child gets into drug abuse, it breaks the family. It breaks the family. It wears out the family. And that's what Satan wants. So you must be spiritually sensitive. You must be spiritually sensitive. The same way you guard your home against strange women, the same way you guard your home against adulterers, against armed robbers, you must guard your home against drug abuse. Because if it finds an inroad, it will stretch your family. A woman came and said, sir, I just have a feeling that my son is about to get into drugs. I invited him, somebody I know very well in the choir, doing very well in school. What's the problem? He said, sir, do you know that just last week somebody offered me marijuana? I said, what a mother. What a mother. What a mother. What a mother. She was so spiritually sensitive that she was able to pick it up that something was going wrong with her son. I've talked about having age-appropriate conversations with your children. That's number 2. You must have the age-appropriate drug abuse conversations with your children. Educate your children about the dangers of drug abuse, including the physical, emotional, legal, social, spiritual consequences. In having these conversations, it must be open. There must be open communication. Don't be judgmental. Don't be confrontational. Don't ask yes or no questions. Ask open-ended questions. Create an environment that the children feel safe discussing these sort of issues with you. Some of us don't have these conversations with our children. And then when things start going wrong, we start wondering why. Do you know I have people that pay me privately to speak to their children? I said, I'm going to do that, but before that, I need to educate you on what to speak to them. Because if I talk to only the children, a time will come where you will say something you are not supposed to say, or say something that is wrong, and then you will make what I have said to them null and void. So it starts with you as parents. Story about a father who smuggled alcohol into the rehabilitation facility. I said, what? He said, no, this one is for in their place. Men must drink. Men must drink. I said, no, you are an irresponsible father. He said, it's just small. I said, do you know that? And I want everybody to listen. For those of you who are still thinking that it's okay for you to drink alcohol, the World Health Organization, this is not Coach David speaking, the World Health Organization has said there is no quantity of alcohol that is totally safe for human consumption. Fact, check me. As you are now, go to their website and check. No quantity of alcohol that's totally safe for human consumption. Then there you are, giving a young child alcohol. The boy I told you has been to 10 rehabilitation centers, and one was number 11. He came to my office one day crying. He said when they were children, him and his brother, his father would line them up and give them alcohol to drink to see how they react to it. Now he has gone to 11 rehabilitation centers. His brother is about to join us. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up to the responsibility of intentional parenting and drug abuse prevention. Have these conversations. Have these conversations. I wrote 2 books, drug conversations with your sons, drug conversations with your daughters. If you don't have them, buy them. You can buy it online. You can read it online. Buy them. Read them. Equip your children. Number 3, pay attention to your parenting partners. Very important. Who are those who partake in the responsibility of raising your children? Some of them are uncles, aunties, drivers, domestic workers, guardians, etc. Like I said, the world has changed father and mother are working now, so children are left to the care of others. What a pity. What a pity. What a pity. And some of us are so lazy that we don't vet the people that we're leaving our children with. What a pity. What a pity. What a pity. Wake up. Who are the people partnering you in parenting your children? Wake up. Sometimes they are the ones that introduce your children to drugs. Wake up. Sometimes they're the ones that introduce your children to alcohol. Wake up. Sometimes they're the ones that introduce your children to pornography with long-lasting effects. Wake up. We have become so lazy in parenting that we delegate it to others to do for us. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have stewards. I'm not saying you shouldn't have helps. As the world is, it's almost impossible right now not to have any of these things. But do your due diligence in vetting who is raising your children with you. If not, when they damage the life of that child, you will be the one left to bear the consequences. They will be far gone. They will be far gone. Have parenting partners whose values align with the values of your home. That's number 3. Number 4, create systems and structures in the home. Some of us lead homes that are structureless, without systems, and this is to the detriment of our children. You go to homes and there's no adequate structure. And I'll tell you something. One of the many advantages of creating a system and a structure for your child is called self-regulation. I talked about this in the book 12 Pillars of Prevention. Self-regulation is born out of routines that help children to develop self-discipline. Not just self-discipline, time management skills, planning, scheduling, delegating, among other skills that are proven to reduce significantly the risk of drug abuse in our homes. Ask yourself another question. What are the routines that have been set in my home? What are the routines that have been set in my home? Establish clear rules about drug abuse and the consequences for breaking those rules. Constantly enforce those rules. Number 5, be a role model. Be a positive role model. The Bible says, train up a child in the way that should go. When it grows up, it's not going to depart from it. It's not by beating that child. It's by modeling the way that child should go. Being the right example for the child to follow. Parents should model responsible behavior. Children emulate the behaviors they see at home. I've seen many children who started using drugs because their parents were bad examples. Bad examples. I gave a story about the child who started drinking Hennessy from her father's wardrobe and ended up in India on kidney transplant. Bad examples. Number 6, be a present parent. You cannot prevent drug abuse in absentia. No, you can't. You have to be there on ground to see and to observe. Be present to have these conversations. Be present to build strong relationships. Foster strong. You see, this culture of everybody working at the same time and nobody is at home is detrimental to the life of the children. It is. It is. It is. You must be present to monitor and supervise, to be aware of your children's activities and their social circles. Know who they are with, know where they are, know what they are doing, especially during the time of teenagers and adolescents. You must be present. Presence above presence. Some of us, all we do is buy presents for the children, and you are not there. Part of the reason you must be present is to create and supervise a drug-free environment for your children to grow. Please be present. No matter how difficult it feels like, be present. Be present. Be present. And in closing, you must teach life skills. We're about to start an academy, and the basis of that academy is life skills training. Life skills training. These are things that are not taught in schools. We are going to start teaching them to young people. Life skills training. I talked about commercials. Do you know it takes a skill for a young child to discern what's behind the idea behind the commercial? But sometimes we as parents, we don't even know. Say, look at this advert. When they're deceiving you, they're deceiving you. It takes a skill. The alcohol industry spends billions of dollars yearly on commercials to lure your children into substances. Social media, their faves are smoking all around to confuse the minds of your children. Life skills. Life skills. Problem solving skills. There's a 7-point, model for solving problems that your children need to learn to follow. Because a lot of drug use is as a result of inability to solve problems. That's another life skill. That's number 7. Train them on life skills training. So I'm giving you examples of the life skills. Assertiveness, communication skills, time management, goal setting, purpose discovery, self-discipline. Life skills. Life skills. We need to wake up. These are not taught in schools. They are not taught in schools. They are not taught in churches most of the time. And even when they are, they just scratch the surface. As parents, you need to go into these are curriculums that you must eat and digest so that you can give back to your children. The problem is some of us as parents are not even grounded in some of these life skills. So how do you impact your children with the knowledge? How do you impact your children with the knowledge? So there's a problem. We don't know how to solve the problem. We don't understand the model of solving the problem. Some of us don't know simple refusal skills. And there's a way to say no. There's a way your children will say no that the person who wants to give them the drugs will press it on them. There's a way they will say no that they will never come back to them again. Wake up. Wake up. You need to teach them these things. You need to teach them these things. There's a way to communicate. There's a way you communicate and then they'll still come back to you. The way you communicate, they'll know that this one is touch not. Wake up. Drug abuse is destroying a generation. I tell you the truth. According to the NDLA, they say they caught some Mexicans in Nigeria and 300 and something billion naira worth of drugs. Well, that's what they said. But these things are on our streets. They're on our streets. They're in the schools. They're in the churches. I was speaking at a youth program, Kenaland, a few years ago. 16-year-old girl came up to me. Sir, I brought cocaine to church. 5 grams. As an ex-drug addict, I looked at that and my body was shaking. So what was a 16-year-old girl doing with it? Say she came to use some and share with whoever might be interested. In church! So now what are you going to do as a mother? You tell your children go to church again? Or the lady that was in school that is 14 years old, they flew to India. She's one of the most expensive schools in Lagos. Okay, your child will not go to school again. In the community, basketball court, football field, it's all there. So your children will not play sports? No. What you must do, and what I'm charging you with at the end of this presentation, is that you must embrace prevention, because the reality of substance use in our community, in our society, in our world today is that it is everywhere. It's being sold on social media, on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, with nicknames. They order it, delivery people will bring it to them. Delivery people will bring it to them. So that's the world we live in. That's the reality of what we have found ourselves. The question is, as a parent, have you woken up to your responsibility of drug abuse prevention? Thank you very much. Thank you to all who have joined us live. Thank you to all who will be watching this later. Thank you again to my sister, Auntie Stella, for the privilege and opportunity to speak on this platform. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I learned a whole lot. And if you have been here and you are not writing or you're not paying attention, just go back and just watch this again, because the stories here are not funny. This is real. Please, if you have your questions, send them to the comment section so he will answer. I know Mrs. Oboko is here to tell us one or two things, and please type in your questions so that he will be able to answer it. And thank you so much, sir. This was so inspiring. God bless you. God bless you, sir. Good evening, ma. How are you doing today?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Well, then, thank you so much. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, Uncle David, for doing this always for us. You see, everything about drug prevention is a class I'm always seated in and I will listen, and everything still sounds fresh and new to me because I don't think we can hear enough of this. In as much as we're praying that the Lord will help us, there's also the parts where we help ourselves. And this is one of those parts. By becoming enlightened, becoming aware, knowing what to do, where to go to part time for information. And thank you so much for tuning
Hello,
into
Auntie Stella, are you
this
there? I can't hear
session.
you.
Yes, I'm
Am
here.
I the only
I
one?
can hear you. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So this is something we should pay
Ma, I
attention to.
can hear
Please,
you.
okay. So please type your questions, type your comments, type everything so he can read your questions. He can read your comments. At the International Boys Conference on Saturday, when he was taking the boys on, he was teaching the secondary school students. Even me as an adult, the names of substance I had, the flavors those secondary school children know. Even me as an adult, I was hearing some of them for the first time. Not just that they know the names, they know the flavors. And our children attend these schools. So we can't be unaware parents. You can't be an unaware teacher. You can't be an unaware coach, unaware mentor, whatever position you hold in a child's life. That's why these conversations are important. Don't neglect at any time. Don't neglect at any time. Pay attention, be sensitive. I like that the first thing he talked about in the 7 keys to safeguarding your child, the first one is spiritual sensitivity. Spiritual sensitivity. Spiritual sensitivity. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma, I can. I
Spiritual
can hear you loud and
sensitivity.
clear.
And then okay, and he talked about age appropriate conversations. You know, me, I can dwell on this age appropriate conversation for the next 1 hour and I'll still be talking. That don't say my child is too young, he cannot understand. Never say that. There is an age appropriate conversation for every child on substance and substance abuse. Thank God for the drug hacketing that happens. I'm happy he's now making it more regular. There was one that happened in April, another one is happening in August. There's a session for young children, 5 years and above, I think, and then there's a session for middle-aged children, and there's a session for. In fact, he has broken it so that you don't say, "My child is too young." There is something for them to learn about drugs and substance use. Please pay attention, dear parents. Avail yourself every avenue to get information. Avail yourself, and this is one of them. Coach, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. I'm
Coach,
here,
are you
ma'am.
there? All right. We have some comments here. Indeed, we cannot afford to be unaware parents. You can't. You can't. You can't. These children know so much. So much. So you and I can't continue to live. I like the way he started. You can't use the engine oil you used to service 2004, 2005 cars for 2024, 2025 series of cars. It won't work. So parents, let's step up. Teachers, step up. School owners, step up. Uncles, aunties, step up. Step up and help prevent this from spreading. You in your estate, step up. Put your eye down and step up. Always mount surveillance to know what's happening around your environment. A lot of things are going on, so that we don't expose our children to a lot of unhealthy, risky behaviors with our own hands and with our own bodies also. The Lord will help us. Questions. If you don't have questions, Coach David, please, you come up and tell us how we can order for your books, your programs, and then your centers, how we can reach you for the things you do. Please, if you have questions, please type it in. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much once again. First of all, the drug hackathon, like Aunt Stella was saying, is coming up again in August. We had a beautiful time with over 220 participants in August, in Easter. On August, we are going again. You can register your children ages 5 to 9, ages 10 to 12, and then 13 to 16 or thereabouts. So every category is well captured. You can visit my Instagram or Facebook at David FOLARANMI. You'll find details there. If you want to buy the books as well, you can also visit and make your picks. In fact, we have interesting books coming up now. I have my life story titled My Walk Through Hell. I have a book for parents, How to Know Your Children Are Using Drugs, Volume 1. You must make sure you get that book. There's another book coming up for children, Drug Abuse Prevention, ABC, for young children. Please, these are all materials that will equip you with how to prevent drug abuse in your homes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
God bless you, sir. Thank you for your comments. Yeah, thank you. Reverend Cosme is saying, be a present parent, prioritize presence over presents. Presence over presents. The children want to know you are there. There are so many things only you can see. Only you can see beyond any other person, because you are that parent. That's so true. That's so true. Both fathers and mothers, you have a role to play. Don't leave parenting to one person. Don't leave parenting to one person. Thank you. The Praying Fathers International. Wow, we have an association here watching. Thank you for sharing this, ma. It's so instructive. Things are happening under parents' nose and they are unaware. So true. Pauline is saying, God give us wisdom to be sensitive to this and give us a way out, Lord. Amen. Amen. Once again, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, Coach David. Coach David, will give us your final word before we finally close. One of the things again he said that stood out for me, was create structure in your homes. What routines have you set in your homes? What are your home rules? Or anybody that comes in can do anything and go. People come in with anything they want to come in with and also leave the house with it. Or do anything they just want to do. They can come in with their small shepe into your house. It don't concern me. I don't want to enter family wahala. And it's my in-laws, and you choose to tolerate. Is that how your home runs? You have to set rules that will work in your homes and stand by it. Your home is your territory. Your home is your territory. Thank you once again, sir. Mr. David, before your final words, please let's take this announcement. Tomorrow we start by 4 p.m. Tomorrow, Friday, we are starting by 4 p.m. Our first session is going to be on sports. Sorry, permit me to get the topics. Our first session, we're talking about sports. We are raising children who will be shining light, so they will also shine in the area of sports. So our first session tomorrow, we are having Coach Egosa Iduezi. I hope I pronounce it well. The impact of sports in raising shining lights. And then by 6 p.m., we'll be having... Tomorrow. Sorry, the session is still on. Thank you, sir. Please go.
Because now
we've not finished.
We're not starting at that place. That Sasamu
Please go. Please, sorry everyone. So by 6 p.m. we'll be having Dr. Nubua Stanley, and she'll be taking healthy living for both children and parents by 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Please take note. We'll be having Dr. Nubua Stanley. And then by 8 p.m. we'll be having Bibora Inkere, and she'll be talking to us on shining against the odds, empowering children with special needs. Children with special needs can also be shining lights. So tomorrow, come prepared. Don't come alone. Coach David, please, let's have you give us your final words.
Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to everybody who has been here. The reality of substance use in our society today is that it's prevalent, but the good news is that it can be prevented. And for it to be prevented, parents, we need to wake up to that responsibility because it rests with us. Drug abuse prevention can be prevented if parents wake up to the responsibility of drug abuse prevention. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for being here. God bless you. See you again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Have a wonderful night rest. Bye-bye.